Hello guys, today I am here to discuss the First World War, Khilafat Movement and the Non-Cooperation Movement, which is from your class chapter Nationalism in India of History class 10th. Myself Avinash from MIT College, Gwalior. The First World War. The First World War created a new economic and political situation worldwide. It led a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing taxes. Custom taxes were raised and income tax introduced. By reading this, we come to know that the impact of First World War created economical as well as political situations worldwide. It has increases the taxes on defense expenditures, like their equipments and defense services. As a result of this, war loans and taxes was increased and all the taxes were introduced in order to overcome the situation. Now discussing impact of the First World War. Between 1913 to 1918, the prices of food grains increased largely, which led to extreme hardship for the common people. The peasants suffered from heavy rent and taxes. Villagers were called upon to supply soldiers. This forced recruitment in rural areas caused widespread anger. After the war, foreign goods once again began to be imported and foreign capital began to be invested in large scale. Indian industries faced heavy losses and even closure. By reading this paragraph, we come to know about that the impact of the First World War was directly impacted at Indian lifestyle and their industry, as as the importing of goods from foreign increases and their investment was also increases in our India. As a result, the industry and our society of India face heavy losses. Now moving to next slide. Social conditions after the war. In 1918 and 1920-21, crop failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortage of food. There was also an influenza pandemic. It was also known as a famine at that time. According to census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people died as a result of famines and the epidemic of this influenza epidemic. People, their sufferings would be reduced after the war, but it did not happen. सब लोग को लगता था ऐसा कि इसके बाद ये सब कुछ सुधर सकता है, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हुआ और तकरीबन 1.25 करोड़ से लेके 1.25 करोड़ लोग मर गए थे इस कारण. Now, emergence of Mahatma Gandhi. In such critical social conditions, a new leader, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, appeared. He suggested a new method of action, and he was popularly known as Bapu or Mahatma Gandhi. The Congress, under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, tried to unite their groups together with one movement, but this unity did not emerge without conflict. The whole paragraph summarizes us about the political condition of India. At that time, when Ottoman Turkey was defeated and the First World War was ended, a name known as Mahatma Gandhi arises in India. Now discussing Khilafat Movement. When Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 7, 1915, his heroic fight for the Indians in South Africa was well known by novel method of mass agitation known as Satyagraha, which had yielded good results in the mentality of people. Satyagraha was a method of agitation and protest based on truth and non-violence. It means सत्य और अहिंसा पर आधारित कोई आंदोलन जिसमें हिंसा नामात्र है. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized सत्याग्रह movements at various places. भारत आने पर महात्मा गांधी ने देश के अंदर कई जगहों पर सत्याग्रह मूवमेंट किए, जैसे बिहार, खेड़ा गुजरात और अहमदाबाद गुजरात में. In order to oppose this सत्याग्रह, Legislative Council of Government passed the Rowlatt Act in 1919, which was opposed by Mahatma Gandhi using civil disobedience movement. और सत्याग्रह को विरोध करने के लिए उस समय ब्रिटिश सरकार ने रॉलेट एक्ट का प्रावधान पारित किया अपने सरकार से. During the Rowlatt Satyagraha, Mahatma Gandhi felt that there is a need to launch a more wide movement in India. उस वक्त उनको ये लगा कि अब वक्त आ गया है कि एक बड़ा आंदोलन भारत में करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन उनको ये मालूम था, but he was sure that no such movement could be organized without bringing the Hindu and Muslim close together. One way of doing this, he felt, was to take up the खिलाफत issue. और एक कारण था उनको लगा कि अब खिलाफत का वक्त आ चुका है. Now, causes of Khilafat movement. The First World War had ended with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey. There were rumors that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, who was the spiritual head Khalifa of the Islamic world. The Muslim of the India decided to force Britain to change the Turkish policy. A Khilafat committee was formed under the leadership of Maulana Azad, Hakim Ajmal Khan, and Hasrat Mohani. A young generation of Muslim leaders like the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali began discussing with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of a united mass action on the issue. Gandhiji saw this as an opportunity of uniting Hindu and Mohammedans as would not arise in 100 years. The whole scene summarizes us about the formation of Khilafat committee, in which three major names as Maulana Azad, Hakim Ajmal Khan and Hasrat Mohani was a main leader, and young generation was about two leaders like Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. And this scenario Gandhiji saw and thought कि अब यही वक्त है कि जो हजारों सालों में नहीं आया कि मुस्लिम और हिंदू एक हो सकते हैं. महात्मा गांधी launched Khilafat movement to bring the Hindu and Muslim close together in order to form unite procession. Now, non-cooperation movement. It means असहयोग आंदोलन. The non-cooperation movement program was launched in 1920. Leaders like C.R. Das had mental reservation, but Gandhiji called for sacrifice and renunciation, appealed to his emotions strongly. Thus, a non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat as well as Swaraj was started. At the Calcutta session of Congress in September 1920, Gandhiji convinced other leaders of the need to start a non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat issue. The non-cooperation movement was the first mass-based political movement under Gandhiji. In his famous book Hindu Swaraj from 1909, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians and had survived only because of this cooperation. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse within 1 year and Swaraj would come. Conditions that were occurred at that time was due to the cooperation of Indians. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule would collapse and as a Swaraj were established. Now moving to our next slide. The Congress passed the resolution in its Calcutta session in September 1920. In order to gain maximum success, Mahatma Gandhi proposed a stage-by-stage implementation strategy for the movement. The strategy are as follows. The movement had to begin with a surrender of titles, honors, and honorary posts by people. It means there will be surrender of their title, it means their name, their fame. Honor, it means respect. And honorary post, it means their पद जो उसमें बड़े बड़े पद पर बैठे हुए थे इंडिया के लोग. Second one, plan to shun or boycott civil service, army, police, British court, legislative assembly, school, college, and British goods. Third one, the British goods were to be replaced by domestic goods or Swadeshi to promote the native cottage industry. Fourth one, in case of government suppression, civil disobedience movement will be launched. After a lot of debates, the non-cooperation movement was adopted by the Congress during the Nagpur conference in December 1920. Under Mahatma Gandhi's leadership, non-cooperation as well as Khilafat movement began in full force. Thank you guys.